Venturing into the waters of Indian rivers, beware as gargantuan beasts lurking beneath the surface might be keen on pulling an unsuspecting swimmer down into the depths. But perhaps even more unnerving is the possibility of crossing paths with a belligerent fish, eerily equipped with teeth resembling a human's. Skeptical? Then this video is tailored just for you. Join me as I showcase these and other perilous mutant fish that have been reeled in from the rivers. Ready to dive in. Number 6. Luminous and blue. Have you ever dreamed of aquarium fish that can glow in the dark? It turns out that such a dream has a chance to become a reality. In 2018, a large, brightly luminous fish was found in a very ordinary freshwater lake in the U.S. state of North Carolina. However, I have to be honest, no one knows exactly what it was. One hiker managed to capture on video something large, shimmering, and blue moving near the surface of the water. The eyewitness uploaded the footage to the internet, hoping to get help from users to investigate. There were many theories. Some thought it was a toy submarine, some thought it was a dead peacock, and some thought it might have been an aquarium fish or a carp that had been injected with a fluorescent solution to make it glow in the dark and scare people, but we'd want to make jokes like this. There's been no official comment from scientists on the glowing blue object in North Carolina yet. And what do you think? What do you think this strange creature could really be? Share your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned because very soon you'll see a strange mutant being consumed for food, a Chernobyl monster, and a fish with human teeth. Let's move on. Number 5. Water dragons. An unusual fish was caught by a man who went fishing on the banks of the Irtych River. The river, which runs through Russia, Kazakhstan, and China, is usually stingy with surprises, but the man named Alexei tells everyone that this is not the first time he's fished out water dragons. In fact, of course, they're not dragons, but only pikes. Pikes are large predatory fish with a mouthful of sharp teeth. But until now, scientists have not known species with horns. The largest of the species caught by the fisherman weighed 12 kilograms, and its head was decorated with 2 horns. The smallest pike weighed only 7 kilograms, but it had 4 horns on its head at once. What did the fishermen do with the unusual trophies? They kept only the horned heads for memory. Alexei decided to keep only the horned heads, which now decorate the wall of his garage. How to explain such an unusual mutation in river fish? Many of the locals do not mind believing in ancient tales of water dragons because a more realistic explanation is even worse. The fact is that the river in this area may be contaminated with radioactive and toxic waste. Some blame the rocket stages for the contamination, and some suspect it's the illegal dumping of waste to blame. One way or another, horny fish have already settled in the Irtych River. What will happen next? Number 4. Indian goonch. In 1998, a 17-year-old boy named Dil Bahadur went swimming with friends at the local Kali River. Suddenly, the young man went underwater as if he'd been grabbed and dragged to the bottom by some invisible force. He never showed on the surface. A couple of months later, the story repeated, this time with another man disappearing at a depth. In 2007, the unknown creature appeared again and dragged the next victim to the bottom. But what kind of monster had actually settled in the river? Jeremy Wade, the host of the TV show River Monsters, traveled to India to find out the truth and film an original video for the show. According to people living on both sides of the Kali River, flowing through India and Nepal, the river monster must have reached 2 meters in length and weighed at least 70 kilograms. And so, it turned out the fish caught by Wade weighed almost 74 kilograms and was about 2 meters long. The trophy was described as a species of catfish, which the locals referred to as GOONCH. Previously, the GOONCH was considered a harmless fish that local shore residents caught and ate, but something in Wade's investigation made them reconsider their culinary preferences. As it turned out, the monster's desire to hunt humans wasn't a coincidence. The Kali River had previously been used by locals for a funerary custom of cremating bodies. Perhaps the fish was addicted to a new type of meat because of this. Wade told reporters that some species of these fish can grow to enormous sizes And if they're regularly fed, they can get even bigger. But what if that 2-meter-long fish wasn't to blame for anything? What if somewhere in the depths of the Kali River, there is another real monster waiting to drag everyone down to the bottom? Number 3. Chernobyl catfish. We're better to look for mutant fish than the infamous Chernobyl. However, it's not that simple. Chernobyl was indeed the site of a terrible tragedy, the consequences of which are still being felt today. But could the consequences be such scary? Is this monstrous catfish really a product of radiation in the absence of man? Among the legends of the exclusion zone are the catfish that inhabit the waters of Chernobyl's cooling pond and diversion channel. Many years have passed since the disaster, but the huge catfish are still there. Of course, officially fishing in the Pripyat River is prohibited, but a few locals and tourists manage to catch fish here sometimes. Sometimes inspectors catch them, and usually they're fined or even prosecuted, but it's impossible to catch all of them. The territory is huge, and the number of staff is small, but the ban on fishing is dictated by common sense. It's forbidden to catch catfish and other fish here because over the years, their bodies have accumulated a lot of radionuclides. That's the main reason these bottom-feeding fish have grown to such size, and they're also fed. The fact is that these clever fish live in the diversion channel that lies between the canteen and the working part of the NPP. All plant workers love to feed these fish, especially Chernobyl catfish, like sausage and boiled meat. Tourists try as much as the workers. Some of them even bring their own treats to feed the monsters from the canal. It's frightening to think what can await a thrill-seeker who will fall into the canal one day. Will the catfish refuse the new treat? Number 2. Fish with legs. What could be worse than mutant fish waiting in the water? Probably only those mutants that decide to go on land. This time, though, it's not radiation or evolution to blame, but the efforts of scientists. Changes in the gene structure of aquarium fish Danio rario, which led to the transformation of fish fins into the likeness of paws and four-legged animals, were produced by microbiologists in the United States. Researchers engaged in molecular biology made a structural change in one of the 2 genes responsible for the growth program of limbs in fish embryos. Changes in the gene led to the formation of a new form of limbs instead of fins. Biologist Brent Hawkins told reporters that at first, neither he nor his team could believe that a single mutation would lead to the formation of completely new bones and joints in the fin of the fish. The Harvard University scientists noted that none of the fish species living on the planet have such gene variation. Researchers were very surprised by the discovery of this mutation. However, the experiment can hardly be called a breakthrough. It turned out that similar studies have already led to interesting results. A few years ago, Harvard University geneticists and their colleagues from Brazil were even able to change the beak of a chicken embryo, turning it into the likeness of a dinosaur snout and making it start growing limbs similar to velociraptor ones. Still, I don't understand why I'm telling you this story in the video dedicated to the most dangerous mutant fish in the world. Then imagine if such experiments get out of control. How would the fish that would have the opportunity to evolve at an accelerated rate behave? Would they come ashore, and what would those species that already inhabit the Earth do? Number 1. Human teeth. Did you know that there are several species of fish on Earth whose teeth eerily resemble human ones? These are pacu fish, close relatives of piranhas, whose habitat is South America. In recent years, however, pacu have often been found in the most unexpected places. Unbeknownst to many, they've been found not only in South America, but also in Europe and Asia. For example, in 2014, a man caught one in a city pond in Kaliningrad. The man's catch consisted of several South American fish with human teeth, each weighing about a kilogram. The fisherman took his trophies to the local oceanological museum, but scientists just threw up their hands. In terms of the laws of nature, such a migration was simply impossible, and in 2013, a pacu fish was caught in the Polish city of Gdansk. That fish weighed about 2 kilograms. Scientists believe that the only reason why the exotic fish could appear in Kaliningrad and the Polish pond is because of careless aquarists. When some aquarium owner could no longer keep such a fish at home, they simply let it out into a nearby body of water. The pacufish would only live in the pond until winter sets in. Local scientists reassure residents that such fish of the Amazon basin are particularly dangerous only when they manage to gather in groups. One by one, they don't pose a serious threat to humans, but how long will we wait until some fanatical lover of exotic fish decides to drop a whole group of these monsters into the local river? That happens in the summer. Pacufish can do a lot of damage. That's all, guys. What was the most unusual fish you ever caught? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching and see you later.